Yo, Yogapreneurs. I'm super excited to be on with Jennifer. There's not really like new news for many of you. Obviously, Jennifer's been in the Yogapreneur Collective coaching crew here as a YC official coach for a minute now. She's already coaching some of you guys, but we didn't have an opportunity because we were switching over to the Money Network here to do the official launch and welcome of Jennifer to the group. So I want to spin it over to you, Jennifer, in a second, but I just wanted to give some context into how we're choosing coaches, why Jennifer was someone that I personally wanted to reach out to and invite into the YC and coming in as a coach in that capacity. And really, it comes down to some really simple principles that we have also tested in coaching. And the bottom line is this: I believe that there is enough uniqueness in the yoga business world that if someone hasn't lived it themselves, they haven't been there at the front desk, they haven't got that nasty email on a Friday night, they haven't had the random teacher who ghosted on a class at 6 a.m. Like, they might understand some of the business stuff, but they don't get it all the way. So the first biggest detail is that any YC official coach must either own or have previously owned a successful yoga business, bottom line, because we need someone who understands exactly what's going on in there. And then additional to the fact that Twist Yoga, Jennifer's studio that is still going right now, is a hyper successful studio that I would definitely suggest checking out. Great website, great messaging. Jennifer, my experience with you as well is just ultra professionalism and clearly a higher understanding of business than the average bear. I don't know how to say that otherwise. So I'm just really excited. I think that you're going to be a powerful coach for the clients you're already working with. And for what it's worth, Jennifer and I working together on things, it's always such a good conversation in the coaching crew with you there, because you have a lot of value to add and we're able to really, come up with even better, more powerful strategies. And you're living it right now. You have a testing ground in front of you every single day. So super excited to have you in the group. For those of you who haven't booked a call with Jennifer yet, I'm going to post a link down below for a free strategy session with her. You can jump on, get to meet her, talk a bit about your business, see how she might be an excellent coach for you. But with that being said, Jennifer, let me flip it over to you. Maybe give us a little bit of a backstory on how you've arrived here.
Sure. A little backstory for me. Thank you so much for having me, Josh. It's just an honor to join this group. So I opened up my studio in 2013. We're in Lake Oswego, Oregon, just south of Portland. And how and why did I open up a yoga studio? Well, I was a yoga practitioner. I was driving all over town taking classes. And there wasn't anything close by where I lived. And it was such a beautiful, magical time where there was nothing in my area. And I thought one day taking classes, like I'm looking around, I'm like, it seems super easy. And I was not a yoga teacher. So I'm like, it just seems like an easy business to have. And I wanted to open a business in my town. I wanted a brick and mortar business. I just didn't know what I was going to sell in that business. I've never worked in retail before. I've never worked in a small business before. I came from a financial background when I helped companies go public with big companies. And it was a time in my life, my kids were in junior high, they didn't need me as much, and I wanted to open something for my community that served them. I wanted it to be a hub of happiness, but I just didn't know what the hell was going to sell them there. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this seems super easy. You just get this little square room, you have a little front desk, you put a shingle up, yoga studio in town, everyone's going to come, right? So I started building this business plan. I'm old school in the business plan, big believer in it. And I started building this business plan, and I kind of started mentioning to people, I think I might open a yoga studio. And they were like, wow, are you a yoga teacher? No. Have you ever owned a small business before? No. Have you ever worked in retail? No. But I did not know what I did not know, which was a blessing and a curse. So we opened in 2013, and it was just such a ride building it from scratch. and just kind of looking around at other studios, what I liked, what I didn't like, things that I thought that I could improve. And I always came to everything with a business mind. I looked at supply and demand. Every choice that I made in the studio, like every single thing needed to make money. And I was super, I bootstrapped it all. I was very careful, like even right now. So my team is right outside there having a meeting. Our front desk is literally a piece of furniture I took from my living room and I cut down a little bit shorter, and that is the front desk. The bins that you see in the back here that hold our props, I got from my kids' playroom. I dumped out their crap and I put props in it. At the beginning, like I wanted to make a profit from day one. That was very, very important for me. So I wanted to invest money in my teachers, in creating a welcoming space, but I wanted it to feel like home and clean and inspirational. So that was 2013 we opened. In 2015, we had our first teacher training program that we developed ourselves. This past weekend, we just launched our 16th teacher training program. So I love running trainings. That's really, really dear to my heart. I did not become a certified teacher until our first training. So we were in business for 2 years and I did not teach. I probably interviewed 5 other owners and before I opened, and they said, you absolutely cannot own a yoga studio unless you're a teacher. And I just pushed against that and it made no sense to me. So like if I own a shoe store, am I making the shoes? No, I'm buying the shoes and I'm hiring people who make the shoes. So for the first 2 years was really, really good for me because I could concentrate, you know, and we kind of look at our space in 50-50. So my teachers owned the room. They rocked the room. They taught the classes. That was their expertise. I worked on the other side, on the business side, trying to get all of that stuff in place. And then I became a certified teacher just so that I could, you know, sub when I needed to. And now I only teach. Well, actually right now I'm not teaching any official classes. I do some of our privates and I do some corporate classes and I sub here and there. So I'm kind of different in that way. A lot of people come to a studio as a teacher, but if you're out there and you don't want to teach and you want to own a business, that works too. So we had our first teacher training program. We started offering retreats. So we typically do 2 or 3 retreats a year. I love planning retreats. I think that it's an amazing opportunity to offer your community to have a way to go somewhere different and experience yoga. And then in 2018, I was working with the Entrepreneur Organization, which is also referred to as EO. It's a big international incubation type company that helps businesses move to the next level. So they have an accelerator program, and it's for any businesses that have 500,000 or less in revenue a year. And their goal is within the next 3 years, they get you to over $1 million. And they work with all different types of businesses. So I really kind of I worked with them for 3 years. I really honed my kind of business acumen with them. We worked through a book called Scaling Up, super old school, all men.
Super old school. Yeah, I know the book
super
really
old
well.
school. Yeah. And we had like this scaling up, you know, professionals come in every quarter. And so I really got that side of the business side. In 2018, I had the kind of the thought that if I did want to get my studio over $1 million, having a single location was going to be really hard for that. So I chose to open virtual locations instead of opening physical locations. So in 2018, with absolutely no idea that a pandemic was percolating in the background, we opened up a virtual studio. We used a product called NamaStream, which is now called Marvelous. I met the founders at an event that I went to, 2 Canadian women, and they're kick ass. I love their ethos and everything about them. And so that's who we use to house our video on demand platform. Originally, it was created kind of as a benefit to our highest tier of membership. So you can buy it separately, but our highest tier of membership get these recorded videos. And we recorded twice a month at my house. I built a little recording studio in our basement. and kind of batched videos that way. And it was great. And we chugged along and everything was beautiful. And February of 2020, we had our best month ever. Everything was golden. I was going to take vacation and retire and lay at the beach because I had worked so hard and things were just fabulous. And then we all know what happened. March 16th, at least that was for us in Oregon, closed down. And so, you know, over the past couple of years, it's been leveraging that knowledge that we already had with virtual, and then just trying to figure out how we support our community. So we're coming back. We're getting ready for a big grand reopening in May that I was just talking to my team about planning for. And my suggestion for our grand reopening to get people to come was, they have these therapy llamas that dress in little costumes, and you can bring them to your event and get pictures with them. And I thought that was super cute. And my team came up with a different idea. They suggested a dunk tank that I sit in, that people throw balls at and dunk me into the water. So
that's a different kind of therapy, but I feel like that might also resonate. Yeah.
Be super fun, right? Yeah. So I love, as a coach, kind of really where my passion is. I've worked with so many different coaches. I'm a mind body certified coach as well. And I'm part of the Mind Body One Champions group. So just this morning, I was on a call with the president, the CEO, and 2 SVPs at Mind Body, getting kind of a sneak peek at what's coming down with the new reimagined Mind Body. So as a coach with YC, one of my big goals is to help people so that they don't make the same mistakes I made. I am not afraid to fail. I'm the type person that is just like, oh, hey, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. Let's get going. I never let any perfection get in the way of action. And as we know, taking action on things is one of the things that starts to move momentum forward. So I really like to help my my owners and the studios that I work with make action and not be afraid that it's not perfect, because as we all know, it's never going to be perfect. The timing is never going to be exactly right. We can plan for things, strategize them, ask our core values if they are the right answer. And if all of that is a yes, then we just go for it, because if it doesn't work, we can fix it or we can change it. But if we don't do it, guess what? It doesn't happen, right? What is that 100%. Thing? Like, you miss 100% of the balls you don't swing at, or strikes, or some kind of a baseball type thing.
Some sports analogy.
There's something there.
The worst yoga class is the one that you don't show up to. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, totally. So I really love working on pricing strategy. I love working on communication, websites, events, retreats, workshops. Core values are like a big part of me. You can't really see, but up in the back here in the top of our mirror, we have our core values: be curiously authentic, show respect, inspire connection, fuel happiness, and always be the student. And we live and breathe by our core values. All of our decisions are rooted in our core values. I use them all the time when I kind of almost act like they're a person. I ask myself, like, oh, we want to do this. Like, what would our core values think? Like, would that serve our core values? And it's either a hell yes or it's a hell no. There's really no gray area with our values. So I love working on that foundational piece and then letting that inform the rest of businesses. And I'm kind of an open book. I'm happy to connect. I'm happy to share anything, because everything that I've done in my business did not come from me. Like, I read about it somewhere, someone else did it, someone shared with me their bingo card. I saw a t-shirt that someone liked, so I made that t-shirt. Like, I have not created anything original. I've just been out there looking for stuff that I think is cool and will serve our community. And then I copy it and I tweak it, and I don't own it. So I will share, because the only reason that I'm where I am today is because people mentored me and helped me along the way. And I want to bring that forward, because I know that having a healthy, profitable studio is the only way that we can continue this yoga in the world and serve people. And as we all know, we need it more today than ever. Yes. Thank you.
Love it all, Jennifer. And I would just say, like, I think a couple of the things that are really unique about your experience is just that you've really lived this and done all of these different things in the business. And, been able to accumulate. I think you downplay how much you understand in your business and your business acumen for it as well, because although maybe things came from other sources, you've actually put them into action, practiced them, seen what works and what doesn't work. And then with your clients that you're coaching as well, the same thing. So, I think you've done a outside of the box level of exceptional job of really like implementing and seeing what it is that affects real change in a business. And, that's something that, to your point of helping people not make the mistakes you've had to make, I think that that's totally invaluable. The other detail with the action orientation that clearly is part of your ethos, it's just so much of coaching. And for any of you watching this who haven't done one-on-one coaching yet in general, the truth is, like, your coaches, do they know that much that you don't know? Yeah, they have experience and they know some tips and tricks and best practices and whatever that you can learn from. But the information is only one piece of what they're offering you. It's the accountability. It's the person fighting with you in your corner. It's the person having a clean view of your business that I think is actually the real gold when you do one-on-one coaching. And I know already that's what your clients are experiencing with you. Final thought I was going to comment on, I love the fact that core values are such a key component to your operation. If you guys jump onto the Twist Yoga website, you'll see they're right there on the homepage immediately. And, these are call them old school or not, things that matter, but they're the guiding light, like they're the filter for decision-making, and they help keep things clean and clear so you can just keep moving forward and don't get paralyzed by indecision, basically. So I've always thought that that's a really powerful piece of how you operate. All right, you guys, we won't keep this going too much longer. If you want to book a call with Jennifer to meet, free strategy session, the link will be set up down below here. Jump on, chat out what it is that's going on with your business. She can talk to you about the program that we offer for one-on-one coaching. And we have available slots for her right away. So excited to see you guys in there. And Jennifer, thanks. Any closing thoughts to leave for the crew?
Oh, thank you. No, I'm excited to get started. I know the first time that I hired a coach, I was kind of creeping around and looking for a long time. And it kind of reminds me of that, like, hire slow, fire fast. Like, I wish as soon as I started that with a coach, I'm like, okay, it was expensive and it was and I had to find where that fit in my budget. But the sooner that I did it, I was like, oh, I should have done this a while ago. Like, I knew I should have, but I was a little scared because one of the things that scared me was like, oh my God, they're going to like look behind the curtain and they're going to see like either my mind body or my software is messy or my budget is messy or I'm not where I want to be. And I was a little bit nervous about showing that, but just know that everybody is in the same boat. We just knowing where you stand and making that choice to work with a coach, the energy is going to be moving in that positive direction. And we all know how that momentum works. So book a free strategy session with me. And I'd love to hear about your business and see how we can level it up this year.
Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Jennifer. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Have a great day. Peace.